specifically just designated onto this roam, and I feel like they will be more comfortable moving forward. It just comes down to team synergy, comes down to communication within the team.
Yeah, and it's such a big deal, and we know these guys have practiced and played together, so they pretty happy that they have Dingo in here, and we're gonna see. Are Lemon and Lime gonna pull out a similar composition to last time? They have that Arden, and there's that Vox for G2.
Yeah, so it's looking like the same steps for last time, but this time G2 will be having to pick up like 2 heroes both at once, and I feel like Lemon and Lime here, they will take a lot of advantage in that they can start building out their composition early on.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things that when it comes down to drafting, you know, some teams prefer to have that first pick, some prefer to have the second pick, but Lemon and Lime able to build around what they see here coming out of G2, which is the Vox and Fortress. And we can plug in quite a bit to round out that composition. We've seen a lot of it. Kestrel going to be picked up again by Lemon and Lime, and it's going to be the Alpha. They're going to do it again.
I feel like it's going to be a rematch right now. What can they really do here from the G2 Kinguin side? Like, I feel, you know, grabbing up that glaive works out really well for them right now. Just having that afterburn to be able to dive in and reposition that Kestrel especially is the best thing that they can do. Just walking in slowly, it won't work out too well for them.
No, it's one of those things. You got to get on top of Kestrel. You can't let her see you coming, because that's exactly when she's going to back up. She's going to drop that cloud down and just be able to absolutely destroy you if you walk into them. But let's see. Honestly, coming into this, now that they picked up this composition 2 times in a row, we're going to see if Lemon and Lime walk away with this victory here in a 2-0 series against G2 Kinguin. I think they're really making a huge statement.
I think that G2 Kinguin is going to win this game, but Lemon and Lime will take the whole series.
Okay.
I like the composition coming at G2
predictions.
Kinguin this one.
Yeah, well, I like it. I like it as well. I mean, honestly, it could go either way, but they looked so strong in game 1, guys. Let's see how will it play out here. Can Lemon and Lime do it? Can G2 push it to the 3rd game in this series? We're loaded into the Halcyon Fold. We toss it to our casters. Action Jackson and Vidius, take it away.
Man, what a game 1 of the series. Game 2, we've got the same composition coming out of Lemons and Limes. You know, I'm not even upset. I'd like to see it again. It was amazing the first game. I do feel like I misspoke once, though. I said it was the blue screen of death for Apfel. I think it was more the Mac side of things, the gray screen of inconvenience, you know?
There's a gray screen of inconvenience?
Have you never heard that before? Clearly you've never owned
I
a
don't
Mac.
use Apple products.
Yeah.
I'm civilized. So...
What? What? What?
You should definitely play Vainglory on Android. It's the way to go. Hang on a second. Look down in the jungle. Double stun from Arclost.
Oh, that's a lot of damage coming across, but is it going to be enough? Arclost is the first to go down as Dingo gets returned upon. Ares now in a bit of a tough spot, level 1 versus Dark Potatoes level 2, but he is going to get out of there. I was expecting a bloodbath, and this game is probably going to deliver.
Well, it looks like G2 have realized this too, which is exactly why they've gone for the Fortress Glaive. They can match this bloodbath with this sort of composition. So much easier to dive onto the backline. That Kestrel is going to struggle a lot more to kite out against this sort of composition. But the question is, how is Reddit's going to do against Apfel? Because he struggled in the game before. Apfel just, no hesitation, easily dives onto the backline, gets all that damage down, also has the option to reboot as well. But I think this is a smarter draft. I agree with the analyst. I think that bringing out the glaive really does make a big difference, and it's going to make Arclost's life a lot harder compared to before.
It's not just making Arclost's life super hard. I think something that maybe people don't know because Alpha is so new, if you knock her away when she's trying to self-destruct, you know, it's like throwing yourself in front of the bomb, right? It just completely
Well, no, it's the
stops.
opposite. It's picking the bomb and throwing it back, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose that's true, actually. But yeah, you get my point. It's very effective at diffusing the situation. Not the bomb, the situation.
Situation, yeah, of course. But Apfel, this guy is borderline insane in his plays. In a good way, in a good way, in a good way. Because he gets stuff done. And I actually think that's a big thing that we're lacking in Europe. Where teams are a little bit afraid to be proactive. And do you remember earlier when I was talking about how Team Secret, big name, some teams are a little bit hesitant to actually make plays against a big name like Team Secret? Where, you know, Lemon and Lime are not afraid. G2 are a very well-known team, have lots of storied players, And Lemon and Lime don't care. They just make the plays regardless. They don't care who their opponents are. They play the same style every game, and it works for them. And I like that a lot. I think that it is positive to see that you're willing to constantly make these proactive plays regardless of who your opponents are.
I definitely think it shows confidence in Lemon and Limes. They are a very strong team. Right now, though, Arc lost in space. Got to be careful here. He gets stunned up. Dark Potato has the damage. Very different from last game. And now Apfel could be in a bad spot as well. Trying to get out of the turret. He's going to have to reboot. That gray screen of inconvenience popping up. But he's going to be all good. Coming back into it. Right now, 1 for 2. Ares, got to be careful here. Trying to stop this invade from going through. Don't think it's going to be quite enough to do it by himself, though.
You can see here the difference that a glaive makes in the early game in terms of the damage output, especially when you pair it up with a fortress. So, again, it's this change up from G2. They've realized that they need to be matching early aggression with the sort of playstyle that Lemon and Lime are trying to bring out, and it's working for them so far. They are not afraid to just go in, make the play, and contest this sort of this counter aggression. I think is the best way to describe it. And this is good. This is the sort of experience that we're seeing from G2. Not getting too rattled by what was a bit of a crazy game 1, and they're bringing a little bit more theory into game 2. They're being a little bit more reserved and saying, okay, we realize what we need to do. Let's change things up and let's match aggression with aggression and show that we can do it too.
It's gonna be interesting to see if they can keep this up, though. As we get later on, Arc lost in space become a very big threat. Apfel is going to be more dangerous for several of the other members of G2. Dark Potato trying to make those plays that we were talking about earlier on today with Team Secret, moving up to the lane a decent amount. Got Dingo backing him up. Very strong early game combination of heroes. Right now, Dark Potato going to be going for that invade. Can he find the steal? Doesn't get the camp. We had the active camo coming through, but Arc lost in space, kind of stuck there, needs to run away right now. Dingo trying to hunt him down, but he can't do it. And now Apfel wants to turn this fight around. He doesn't have self-destruct yet, but he does have the reboot available. Makes it a little bit scary if you want to go for a fight. Arc lost in space, he's level 6, has 1 shot, 1 kill. Apfel's going to start rebooting. Might use that as bait to go for the 1 shot, 1 kill, but Dark Potato jumps over the wall. Can't get onto Arc lost in space, he goes down. Arc lost, still holding on to that ultimate. Really taking his time here. Surprised he didn't fire it out there.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a 1 for 1.
He didn't really have the vision. He didn't want to throw it out blind in case an opportunity, like a solid opportunity, came available to him. But Apfel, little bit awkward positioning because there's little that his team can do when he's in that reboot state. But Dark Potato made a big misplay. He went over the wall, tried to catch Arc Lost off guard, and he actually knocked a minion instead of knocking Arc Lost into the wall. If he had done that, it would have been a 2-0 kill lead going over to G2, but instead it ended up being a 1 for 1. So, big misplay from Dark Potato. Very unfortunate for him. But he's still having a big impact on this glaive. You can see how readily they just invaded the enemy jungle, and Lemon and Lime are really forced to kite a lot of what all this action that's happening right now. Apfel picked up the aftershock, gonna try and use that to his advantage right now.
Do some good damage onto Dark Potato, but not enough to really commit for the kill there, especially with Redix nearby. Dark Potato certainly has been going yam, as I like to say this game. Making it work so far. Dingo going to take a bit of damage there. Got Ares and Arc lost in space, rotating up. So far the action has chilled out just a little bit for now.
Yeah, but that's because Apfel's waiting. He's only got his alternating current for so far. I think he does have boots. So he can now run at the enemy. Oh, Ares!
Oh, he is caught way out of position. Look at the damage coming across from G2K. Apfel can't help him out. Arc Lost can't really help him out either. Gonna have to book it on out of there.
Great pick coming out from G2 to catch Ares in his rotation through the jungle. And this is, again, nice adaptation coming out from G2. Not afraid to just move into the enemy jungle, realizing they're stronger in the early game. Dingo, though, he takes a lot of return damage.
Whoa, wait for it. Does a lot of work there onto Arc Lost in space. 1 shot, 1 kill, miles off the bat. And Apfel is going to have to reboot. Arc Lost in space. Got to be careful right now. Dark Potato tries to hunt him down. That was a very good prediction, but he didn't expect
Dingo.
the stealth. Now Dingo going to be the next target. Apfel jumps forward with that core overload, picks up the kill. Going for more here. Prime Directive might be able to find it, but he's got to get away from Dark Potato right now, where he's going to be a very sour apple. Dark Potato is able to find that kill, though. Ends up being a trade. This game's back and forth, Vedius.
Yeah, but there was... This is mostly just G2 being way more aggressive. They're the ones going for these invades. They're the ones trying to force these fights. And that's Lemon and Lime trying to pick things up on the back end. They are the ones trying to get return kills after G2 have already done the damage down. And the problem for Lemon and Lime is they're just, because they're so used to playing an over-aggressive tendency, they're used to having a lead in the early game, they are struggling to know their limits right now. They are falling behind in these engagements. They are giving away a few too many kills. And if you just look at Dark Potato, he's 3-1-1 right now. He's working towards that Sorrow Blade, and he is just going to become a monster once he completes it. So things are looking not fantastic for Lemon and Lime. I do feel like this is the first early game that we've seen them suffer or struggle. But I don't want to count them out yet. They do still have quite good scaling with Apfel on this alpha, and we'll have to see how well they can transition that come the mid-game stage.
I really feel like it would have been better if Lemon and Lime could have picked up the talk of this game. I feel like against the Glaive, the fact that your active camo gets stuttered a little bit when you take damage is a big problem, whereas Kaku is much more flexible about dealing with getting robots. So not an ideal draft, I think, for Lemon and Lime, even though this composition worked so well last game. However, as we get later on, if they can get strong enough, I think Dark Potato is going to have a tough time being impactful in the later stages of the game. And Apfel becomes a monster later on. Ares, oh man, he's in a bad spot. Arclost gives him the option of vanguarding out. But look at the wait for it. It lands on all three. Ares, he goes down to the minions. Apfel falls. Arclost, he's going to get knocked away from the turret.
Nice.
It's a clean ace coming through from G2K.
Very unfortunate positioning from Lemon and Lime right there. You could see Ares wasn't even level 6 yet. He couldn't throw down the gauntlet to disengage from that. Arclost used his active camo aggressively, which meant that he didn't have it available when Dark Potato, Dingo, and Redix all funneled themselves into that choke point. And it actually worked even better for G2 because Dark Potato could get all of that cleaving action down. Dingo got a multi-man silence off with his wait for it. And then a beautiful follow-up from Dark Potato with that afterburn to get the knock-on to Arclost when he was underneath his turret. So just a well-executed fight from G2, capitalizing on the mispositioning of Lemon and Lime once again.
Redix is really starting to hit hard. Apfel not being his usual self this game. He's being a lot more measured, I think, because he realizes that his team just isn't far enough ahead to capitalize on his crazy plays. Right now, things are definitely looking a little bit grim for Lemon and Lime, but if anyone can turn it around, I believe it's these guys. I think later on in this game, once Apfel gets enough items, can be a big threat.
Well, you heard Rome, excuse me, sorry, you heard Rome saying that he thinks this game will go to G2, but he thinks that it will go to all 3 games, and that Lemon and Lime will take the 3rd game blind pick, which I could actually see that happening if they're free to get the Celeste or the Taka. Oh, hang on, look, Lemon and Lime, they want to force a fight.
Well, they're trying to get onto Redix right now. Can't quite do it, though, and Dark Potato is on the flank, but he's actually quite far away from his team. Gotta be careful here. Gauntlet goes down, stuns up Redix. That's a great target for them to get, but the wait for it is going to dissuade Lemon and Lime from going too deep. That fight was a lot more encouraging for Lemon and Lime than previous ones, but it was all about the positioning of G2K. Dark Potato not really in the best spots.
I think that was really smart from Lemon and Lime to force an engagement with the numbers advantage that they had, but G2 want to try and force it back.
Dark Potato does get stunned there. There's a self-destruct. Prime Directive doesn't land, but Dark Potato gets hit by the damage. Ares, he's running point right now, trying to get onto Redix as Dingo goes down on the side. Ares likely going to fall, but Apfel prioritizes the right kill. That Prime Directive was as described. That's an ace getting picked up for Lemon and Lime. They're right back in this game.
Oh man, that was great. Apfel able to get, like, he was the target focus right there. He held on to his ultimate at just the right time, and it was just a really nice play from Apfel. He was able to turn that around because he got the kill onto Dark Potato, and with Dark Potato gone, that's a lot of the mid-game damage unavailable. Apfel hard committing for this turret, and I think that was a mistake.
I'm inclined to agree. Dark Potato is on the hunt, has got that afterburn yet again. Apfel knocked onto a scout trap. Insult to injury right there. Again, Apfel going a bit deep there.
It's just a tad. Oh well. Oh well. Just Apfel doing what Apfel does. He still played that last team fight really well. And the way in which he was focusing Dingo and then used the Prime Directive to change targets onto Redix. Redix wasn't expecting it at all. Guarantees the kill. Lemon and Lime get the ace. And even though they haven't quite closed the goal gap yet, things are looking promising for them. The way in which they play these team fights is still fantastic. That Kestrel, having completed the Sora Blade, working towards the Turret Monocle, going to be really good at the mid-game point. And now Apfel is really at probably his strongest. He's only going to get stronger from here. I imagine he's going to go towards the Broken Myth. Maybe an Eve of Harvest as well. Could do with a bit of sustain, as Redix is going to be the target focus. But he's just going to disengage.
Arc lost. Whoa, that's very aggressive. Gets silenced up. Can't active camo right now. He's just barely going to get it off, but he still goes down. Apfel, he wants Redix. Can he manage to get on top of him here? That's the reboot, but he goes down midway through the sequence. Way over aggressive from Arc Lost in space there. That was nothing to do with Apple. Arc Lost should not have face checked that bush.
No, he should not have. The active camo wasn't enough. It won't protect you from a blood song, which is exactly what Dark Potato was able to use right there to guarantee that kill. And it was just somewhat of a misplay from the side of Lemon and Lime, but great execution from G2. Got to give credit once again to Ares. He's landing some phenomenal gauntlets, getting the stun down to Redix once again. But it just doesn't matter because Dark Potato, he's got the Sora Blade himself. He's just completed the Turret's Monocle. He is a big damage dealer. The big thing is he's quite squishy. He does have the Coated Plate, so he is relatively... Oh, actually, I think that's the light armor rather than the Coated Plates. Yeah, he's only sitting on the light armor right now, but it's still 40 armor. It still helps a lot of the damage from Arc Lost. So he's still a difficult frontline to just instantly shred through. And maybe once Arc Lost completes that Torrent's Monocle, it will be a little bit easier for him. But right now, he is struggling to get through that front line of G2.
He is indeed. It's a bit difficult to get onto Redix. He can just hop all over the place. Apfel does have a decent number of tools, though, to stick onto that back line with Prime Directive and Core Overload, allowing you to close that gap. Have to see if he can make any more plays as we move forward. Right now, G2K in a fairly solid position, though. 12 kills to 6. About 3,600 gold in the lead, which is a fairly substantial amount. There's always that risk of just getting blown up instantly by the burst that's on the side of Lemon and Lime, though. Really good map vision, I think, is going to be important for G2K, something that they have been doing up until this point.
Look at the poke coming out from Lemon and Lime right now, and just look at the vision coming out from G2. They have so much control around the Kraken area. I think this would be risky for Lemon and Lime to try and make a play towards it, and if you just look at the minion wave right now, they can't consider contesting right now. There's too much farm on the line for them. They need to get to that level 12 point. Ares could do with getting level 10, because he's only got one overdriven ability right now, and they are at a big level disadvantage. And even with this 3,500 gold lead in favor of G2, it's those levels that really do matter. Just having an overdrive ability makes such a big difference, and we need to keep an eye on what Apfel decides to overdrive. I imagine it's going to be the A, but we'll have to wait and see as the gauntlet comes down.
Dark Potato does have the reflex block for that. Dingo not going to get too much damage either. Now Apfel trying to dive onto the back line. Prime Directive missing Redix, but Arc Lost in space, kiting out fairly well here. Got the active camo, but look at this Afterburn gets Dark Potato out of the zone where he can be stunned. Apfel, he can't find Redix, or does he? He manages to pick it up. There's his self-destruct. It is going to stop Dingo from picking up the kill, but Dark Potato wants a piece of this action. Running in here, the reboot not going to go off as 3 crits in a row come through from Dark Potato. That's the ace for G2K, and they're going to be picking up the Kraken right away off the back of that fight.
It is all about the glaive that is making the difference in this fight. It is so much easier for Dark Potato to deal with Arc Lost this game compared to game 1. The Black Feather, they were able to kite him out, but you cannot escape from this ever-relentless Dark Potato on the glaive. The Afterburn has had a reduced cooldown. When it's overdriven, you can usually use it at the start of the fight and towards the end, and because of that, even with all the mobility that Arc Lost was using, with the active camo, with the movement speed boots, it just wasn't enough, and Dark Potato was able to shut him down. Yes, Redix ended up getting killed to Apfel, but it didn't matter because Apfel had to lose so much of his life to do that, that it wasn't enough to then clean up the kill, and Dark Potato could guarantee the ace for G2. They've now got the Kraken, and they're looking to try and equalize the scoreline.
All right, well, G2K, they're going for a push here. Let's see how much they can get off the back of this. Dark Potato leading the charge. Turret going to be the main focus for now, but Dingo trying to make something happen on the back line. Can't quite do it. Apfel, he's down to half health already. Not in the best position right now. Has self-destruct available though. Dingo, gonna be a good target. But look at this, Arc Lost in space gets melted. Talk about self-destruct. Dark Potato is the real bomb right now as they move in. All 3 members dead. That's the ace. Kraken's still alive. G2K, they're gonna be bringing us to our first game 3 of the quarterfinals.
And Rome, with his accurate predictions once again, he identified how effective this glaive would be, and wow, was it effective. Dark Potato finally shining on these bruiser sort of weapon power builds that we're used to seeing from him, and his ability to just constantly lock down Arc Loss was really the big difference that happened in this game compared to game 1. It was super action-packed, it was super exciting in the first game. G2 said we can match that, they did just that, and in about exactly the same amount of time, they've equalized the scoreline 1-1.
Very impressive comeback in the series from G2K, but they've got to take it forward another game if they want to make it through to the semifinals. Lemon and Lime, the new kids on the block, they've got to do the same. So in the blind pick, it's going to be super interesting. I don't know really what compositions to expect. I feel like there's so much on the table. We're going to have to hear what Humanist and Rome think moving into the blind pick.